Santhals were a tribal group located primarily around the Rajmahal Hills, ठीक है, in eastern India. So during the colonial period, this was part of the Bengal presidency. ठीक है. Now the British, as they became interested in the expansion of their revenue income, they sought to introduce settled agriculture over here as well. However, Santhals jo the, they were tribals. What kind of cultivation did they usually practice? Slash and burn, shifting cultivation, jhoom cultivation. So the British wanted them to adopt settled agriculture. But this was against the customary practices of the Santhals. They were reluctant to do so. Further, their experience of interaction with outsiders, तो यहाँ पे outsiders सारे हो जाएंगे, whether it is the British officials, police officials, whether it is Christian missionaries, Indian ठेकेदार्स or zamindars, Indian traders, etc. It had been a negative one because they had seen their other compatriots being exploited commonly by these outsiders. So they were quite reluctant. So in order to console them, in order to make them feel secure about it, in 1832, the government demarcated a huge area along the foothills of the Rajmahal Hills known as the Damin-Echo. दामिन का मतलब क्या होता है? दामन मतलब स्कर्ट, मतलब जो साड़ी का नीचे वाला पोर्शन होता है, राइट. एंड को इज हिल, पहाड़, जैसे कोहिनूर द माउंटेन ऑफ लाइट बोलते हैं, राइट. तो को का मतलब पहाड़ होता है. तो दी स्कर्ट्स अराउंड द माउंटेन्स, ये वाला जो एरिया है, इसको इन्होंने बोल दिया दैट दिस इज गोइंग टू बी एन एक्सक्लूसिव सांथाल जोन. And nobody shall interfere in the Santhal usage of this parcel of land. अच्छा, साथ में एक कंडीशन भी लगाया. क्या? That Santhals can do whatever they want to over here, but at least in 1/10 of the total area that has been demarcated for them, they will have to start practicing what? Settled agriculture. Following this, what will happen to the size of the Santhal population concentration in this region? Is it going to remain the same, stagnant? Is it going to decline, or is it going to explode? It is going to explode as Santhals from the surrounding areas also started coming and settling over here. So this resulted in the rapid expansion of Santhal population in the Damin-Echo. अंग्रेजों को छोटा नागपुर प्लेटू और राजमहल गारो गैप के बीच में और क्या मिला इस जमाने में? कोल. ठीक है, तो ह्यूज कोल डिपॉजिट्स वर डिस्कवर्ड बाय द ब्रिटिश. दिस बिकेम प्रॉब्लमैटिक. क्यों? क्योंकि अभी अभी ये इलाका सांथाल्स को दिया है, वी हैव प्रॉमिस्ड देम वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू इंटरफियर, बट अंग्रेज माने कैसे, when their economic interests were became involved, everything else took a back seat, and therefore the British went back on their promise and started interfering in the internal affairs within the Daman Eko. They started giving out huge coal mining contracts to Bengali and Marwari ठेकेदार्स, उनको ठेकेदार्स बोलते थे लोकल लैंग्वेज में, इन ठेकेदार्स को इंट्रोड्यूस किया. And where do you think the bulk of the manual labor for doing all this mining is going to come from? From among the Santhal population. So coal mines were opened and Santhal exploitation started taking place. Further, this area was becoming more and more populous as more and more outsiders started to come in, and the British saw here a greater opportunity. क्या कि जो प्लेन्स वाले एरिया हैं ऑफ द दामिने को, दे कैन बी क्लियर्ड, एंड यहाँ पे क्या शुरू कर सकते हैं, सेटल्ड एग्रीकल्चर. तो द ब्रिटिश also began forcibly clearing the forests and introduced settled agriculture. In which presidency was the Damine ko located? Bengal presidency में. And over here which system was introduced? Land revenue assessment का permanent settlement was introduced. So under permanent settlement, which new middleman is going to emerge in the Santhal region? In zamindars. So permanent settlement and the introduction of zamindars led to the aggravated exploitation of the Santhals. Now the zamindars began to charge exorbitant taxes for them or rents from them, and this pushed them into which trap? The debt trap. So ट्राइबल इंडेटेडनेस के भी शिकार होने लग गए, बिकॉज ऑफ विच लैंडलेसनेस बिकेम अ मेजर इशू एंड so did bonded labor. All this that was happening, was it not bound to have some sort of a reaction? Yes. क्या reaction होगा? Uprising 1854-55 Santhal Uprising led by the Murmu brothers, सिद्धू एंड कान्हू, दो भाई और थे, चांद एंड भैरव, राइट. एंड फॉलोइंग दिस, in order to prevent the recurrence of such an uprising, especially after the British received the shock of the Great Revolt of 1857, कुछ substantial changes करे जाएंगे यहाँ पे या नहीं? Yes. तो the Santhal Parganas was created. तो जो दामिनो को था ना, it was renamed the Santhal Parganas, and stricter provisions were put in place to prevent the transfer of tribal land to any outsider. Is this clear? पक्का?